Hey there everybody, Joe here. Thanks for tuning in again. I need to add some crystals in here that show how I would paint refracted light because I promised I would do that. I'm thinking I'm going to put some kind of a crystal formation up in here, maybe some shooting out of this little waterfall area. But a little bit of knowledge about refracting light before I start painting will help me a lot. So I'm going to pull out the whiteboard, and this is the way I think of refraction. It's just a change of direction as light moves from one material to another material. So if I have a material that is here, let's say this is water, this is where we always see refraction happening when a person is standing out here and it looks like he has really short legs because we're standing up here. This is why that happens, because as light enters a heavier material from a thinner material, it moves toward 90 degrees. So this is the way you visualize that. Sun is shining in. Just ignore the two people for a moment. Sun is shining in and it's going to move toward the 90-degree mark according to the surface. That is the dictator. And that's why crystals have these real distinct patterns, because they have these level, consistent surfaces that change the location of the images that are past them. So let me explain further. Light goes in, it moves toward 90 degrees, not all the way to 90 degrees. Only light that shines at 90 degrees will go 90 degrees past the surface. So 90 degrees to the surface. So then when light exits, it does the same thing. Let's bounce this light off of the sand that is under the water at what I'm trying to make the same angle. And as it exits, it also does the opposite thing and moves away from 90 degrees. So 90 degrees would be here, it's going to move away from that. So if it were coming out straight like this, then it's just staying the same, it's not changing. We want it to change and move away from 90 degrees, so it's going to go like this. Because if it went the other way, it would be getting closer to 90 degrees to the surface. So moving out of the water, light moves further from 90 degrees to the surface. Moving into the water, light moves closer to 90 degrees according to the surface. That is the most simple way I can think of it. And the effect that this has on images is that light coming off of this guy's feet that are, let's put him standing right here, and since we already have a him, we'll make this a she. So she is looking at him and she sees light that comes up this way off the feet, but then changes direction because it moves away from 90 degrees to the surface. It moves away from that 90-degree line and goes to her eyes instead. So she is now seeing feet when she looks at this part of the water. She sees feet under there, but the feet are down here, the feet are not here. But the appearance is that this guy has really short legs as he's standing in the water. And what she would have seen if there were no water is swim shorts. Of course he's wearing swim shorts. But she didn't, because when the swim shorts were exiting, when the light from these shorts was exiting the water, it moved away from 90 degrees and did not make it to her eyeballs. So this is the effect that that would have. As you're looking at something like a crystal, I'm going to draw this three-dimensional rectangle shape. I'm looking at it from this angle because I can see this edge. I'm looking at it from this angle, and so the light that I'm seeing is light that was over here shining this way, but then it moved away from 90 degrees and shined toward me instead. And the light that I would have seen this corner right here if this wasn't there, this wall wasn't there. But that light hit the surface on its way to my eyes and skipped to my left. And so I don't see it. So where this corner would appear is where it's shining a little more this way and then bends along the surface. So it takes this corner and moves it over to here. So even if my explanation is not making sense, hopefully my illustration will. This angle, as it tilts away from me this way, takes any imagery that's beyond it and makes it shallower. It pulls the imagery this way toward the surface. So that's just like water. Imagine I'm looking in a pool of water here. For the same reason the person had short legs, let's just put a person with short legs right here. It takes the depth of this wall that would be appearing here and moves it to here. And so now it's changed the way this looks if I want to represent refraction in there. Now if I had something like an emerald, so if there's another square like this one that is beneath this, then this edge that bends, this edge is bending this way away from me, right? So it's going to pull this way. It's going to pull that corner that way. This one's going to pull the corner this way. This one is going to pull the corner that way, so I might see it in a real similar location right there. And this one is going to pull it this way, so it's kind of expanding that image right there. Now, I don't have to endlessly calculate what images are reflected off of another image, reflecting another one, reflecting another one. I'll leave that to the computers. All I need to do is just fake it so that I can give the look of that effect happening. Okay, now I'm just going to start painting some blue-green colored crystals coming out of this water here, and just try to incorporate those effects to whatever three-dimensional shape I make. So for starters, I just want to get a shape established for my crystals. So right away, I see a place where I can incorporate that effect. And since this is just what I want to look like, a natural crystal, I'm not going to worry about being crystal clear. This is just going to have some suggestion of some edges. Now, rule of shifting hues is going to make a green crystal turn yellower, a blue crystal turn greener as it gets illuminated from the inside out. So I'm going to put some kind of a flat edge. Now, this is the flat edge shining from the inside. That's why I made it so green. And then I'm going to put a shadow above it that's bluer. So up here, I'm going to put this part of that. This is like a window to the inside of the crystal here. I'm going to make that bluer, and we'll make it kind of foggy. We won't define that edge really clearly. Up in here, this is just like that rectangle I drew. So this edge is a window to the inside there. It doesn't change too much, but then this edge on this left side is at this angle, and imagine it just like water. It makes the legs shorter. It's going to make this image appear to be much shallower. So I can take this same bright strip and put it right here. So let me get some green and white. I'm going to put that same image scrunched on this part of the crystal. And because that's facing toward the light, I'm going to add more white to everything on this edge of the crystal. A little bit of blue, which I already have a little bit of blue right there on this edge. And then I'm going to get rid of this real dark outline right here. Now that's all together a little bit lighter so that it looks like it's reflecting some surface light, but it takes this same image and just scrunches it up that way because I want it to be at that angle. And then I'll take maybe a darker color to do the underside of this. Now this is at a real sharp angle. So all I'm going to do with this one, I want that to look like it's going under. And I'm going to reflect these colors off of that one. So this is going to be reflecting on maybe this violet colored water. So I don't know, I'll leave it blue, maybe add a tiny bit of violet. Put that there, put a little bit of white on it. Not a lot though. Now I might have the same thing going on here, lights shining in that, and through this wall I want to see the image get kind of pulled up that way. So this is looking at the light bouncing off the surface, this right edge, but in the middle here I have the same effect. I'm going to put my bright green right in there. Then I'm going to put my darker bluer color. Then in here I'm going to put the opposite wall. I'm going to put that darker blue color but make it skinnier. And I'm just going to leave that one a little more whitish because that whiter color is good for, well, here, let's put a little bit of green in there. Might get some background here, might get some of that tree. you know, if I want that to look like a reflective surface, I should put a little bit of that brown in there. Maybe a little bit of red to keep it from, well, the brown looks pretty good. I'll put this brighter green in here, just right on that edge. So I'm accounting for the surface reflection combined with what's beneath the surface right there. I mean, it's all just a bunch of guesswork for me to just decide where images might occur. What I want is just for it to look believable. So I like those lines that the brush leaves. I'm gonna do more of that for sure. I'm just gonna put a little bit of this brown, this land right here, you know. I'll put, maybe this will go away later, but I think it'd be cool to have that just as a little accent. I'm gonna experiment with some different shapes here. Let's put another one kind of shooting out this way. I want one coming toward me. A little bit of reflection there. Put a little bit right here. Okay, I think I got this. All right, so this is starting to take shape here, and I can visualize. I can see the shape that I've already set in place. So now I'm going to start fine-tuning the colors a little bit more. I'm going to imagine if it was a three-dimensional kind of a wire sculpture where each corner I can see both the back and the front side, and so I'm painting the back side from, you know, as it would be inside out, painting the back side and then distorted by the front side. I'm going to make this side the lighter one, and I'll make it real green because I'm representing light shining through on this one. So I have the shifting hue, you know, getting greener as it gets brighter. That's one element to the translucency. Then I have the refraction by doing all these edges. Kind of feel like it'd be neat to add a little adjustment to this one. I don't like how this front face here is skinnier than this. I want to put more right here. So I'm going to put like a fracture in it, kind of where one wall is sticking up, like stair-stepping up. And just by making it that same kind of saturated blue-green color, I'll make it look like it's the inside of the crystal. And I'll do the same thing here. I want that to be a little less of the grayish blue. It'll look deeper if I put this color there. So, you know, I'm really straining my brain to think of all of these little turns and edges, but I really think that just making a bunch of edges scrambled around in this would probably achieve a very similar quality of result. You know, I don't feel like it's really about getting accuracy as much as just the kind of relationships that you see when you look at, I mean, who can look at a crystal anyway and say, oh, well, that right there is this edge reflecting off of that edge bouncing out of this. I don't feel like that's really the way we identify things. So it's not what's needed in order to paint it either. I just like the challenge, you know. It's kind of just trying to build my ability up, you know. Let's put a bright spot right here, because this corner is pretty much the same thing that I have highlighted on the eyeballs of the creatures, and any little angle facing that direction. That's where I have highlights, so I could highlight right here. If there's any kind of a little chip or imperfection on something, you know, right there. I might just, for fun, just put a couple little nicks in other places. Yeah, that looks good. Put some stuff behind here. I want to put some things pointing the other way, so I'm kind of imagining a crystal going this way. Maybe one right here. Putting some smaller crystal shapes in here. And that way. Alright. So this here would be a nice bright green area. The fun thing about trying to paint special effects, or a fun thing I should say, is that once you've established the effect, there's a lot of room to cheat on anything else, you know, just fake it. I say cheat, but you know, I use that word loosely. I like when they're not symmetrical. That really does look better. It's a fun thing to paint. Fun in one way, a headache in another way. Okay, I'm going to take a quick look at the comments from last week's video. Thank you very much, Adil, for the nice compliment. See, sorry, Tiger Wolf says the perspective confuses me now. The hominid's shadow is going back and to the right and landing on the lava flow. What seems to be barely in front of where the beast's hind legs rest on the lava. Well, okay, yeah, this is good point. Shadows definitely influence perspective. So I'll work on that later. But a valuable thing about this is that where you put light and shadow, like I have all through this picture, greatly influences what is in front of what. So that's a good observation there. Nancy says, I also would like to see you do a desert theme. All right. That bubblegum lava looks absolutely delicious, says Zombie Elijah. See? Now I have to go try this, says Cajun. Maybe trying to use a very bright yellow with white for the very center of your magenta. Okay, so the brightest part. Let's try it. That does go along with the rule of shifting hues. Let's just see if it looks good. All right, I'm grabbing my yellow. Let's go over here. Well, I'd say it does look good. But I don't want it to look like it's going to burn his foot off. That was SC Wolfpack Art / activist. Hello, teacher, best regards from Medellin, Colombia. I always say things wrong. I hope I said that right. I doubt that I did. Could you put your videos in Spanish? Thank you. Nope, but I will allow anybody else who has the time to do so. Hey, all right. Thank you, Claude Bowles, for spreading the word about my channel and for the nice compliment and comment there. Najme says, very nice painting, but very fast video. It is. It's a lot of hours to put into a video, but I would like to know which part you want to see slowed down. Have you ever tried sanding down your palette? Spots where the paint has piled up too much before painting over? Yeah, I have. This comment is from Mrs. She Devil's Art Creations. Yeah, I tried that, and then that's what made me decide I need to never do this again. I need to just not make it pile up. Totally Not Lily says, I didn't know how to do. Does that make sense? Either way, great video. Thank you very much. I run into that exact same scenario all the time myself. If I see someone doing something, I say, wow, I didn't even know that was a possibility out there. Deuce Volt says, I must admit, I rush to your videos because I think I will learn something. However, after about 2 minutes, I haven't the slightest clue what you're talking about, and I give up trying to understand. Then I just watch you paint these wonderful paintings. So, thanks. All right, man, thank you. Jamakit, J. I don't know how to say that name. Says, thanks heaps. You've given me courage to just change something when something doesn't look right and paint over it. LOL. I love the way you just mix colors on the canvas. I'm taking some of your techniques and trying them out. I have a Facebook page that I've just made to show my family, friends, my progress. I'm working on a painting for a local church. All right, we're gonna check it out. This is Jimakit Art. This is the page right here. All right, this is cool. Very cool painting. I like the skin tones you've got on the underside of the girl's face. This is really cool. Great story. This is a painting of the woman who washed Jesus' feet with her hair. One of my favorite stories. Hey, I want to say thank you as usual for taking the time to watch my video and let me show off for you. I would love to keep showing off for you again next week. If you want to subscribe, hit that subscribe button. That is the #1 way you can help us out in what me and my brother do, making these videos. I say me and my brother because I fill up a card with maybe 100 gigabytes of footage and he filters through it all to make these nice videos for you every week. And that's my brother Ben that does all of that with my big pile of footage. So thanks to him, these videos come out in some manner that's actually followable and makes as much sense as it can. So if you want to help us in what we're doing, then subscribe. I also want to remind you, if you don't know already, that I have videos for sale at my site, muraljoe.com. There are tutorials there on various subjects, how to paint clouds, how to paint water, landscapes, things that I have discovered tricks to along the way, things that have helped me. I put into these how-to videos. They are just more in-depth videos of the kinds of short videos that are on YouTube. And we're having a great time seeing all of the work that's being posted out there, what you guys are doing. So post your work at Mural Joe if you'd like it to be on one of these videos. and we'll be scouting. I'll see you next week.